What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday to you. I'm just getting myself ready for the week. I don't know what kind of week this is going to be, but hey, you just got to do your thing. So, I caught this news story that the rapper out in Florida, Fulio, was shot and killed on his 26th birthday last night. And it's interesting because my brother and I, we always talk about hip hop, the evolution of hip hop, the drill rap scene, and how deadly and violent it is. And yet, you have several record labels pushing this type of music, and it's predominantly targeted towards black men for a reason, obviously because they want to send messaging to black men to kill each other. So here we have Fulio dead. And if you don't, for those of you who are not familiar with rap music, this may be a moot point for you, but just for some social information, Fulio, he came out with a very disrespectful rap song a couple of years ago. And he was pretty much highlighting young men whom allegedly, supposedly, his rival gang had killed. And he was making a mockery of the fact that he had killed these young boys. And you're talking about teenagers killing each other, right? They're playing Call of Duty with each other, and I've talked about this before. So now Fulio is dead, and people are rest in peace, R.I.P. People are sending their condolences. For me, it's like it's a sad life with some of these young boys because obviously they're born into the poverty line. A lot of them don't see any kind of pathway to a future. Thanks to NAFTA, most of the industries that would have been in their neighborhoods are gone, and other policies that hurt at-risk and poverty line individuals who need industries to at least create some level of legacy sustainability. But, so if you don't have that, obviously you have these lost boys who just end up going into the gang life. They need something to do, right? They need some way to make money. So drugs and gang life is the resort. I don't want to hear about these country bumpkins talking about, well, I didn't do this, or oh, nobody cares about what you did, okay? There are some people who live in cycles of mindset, behaviors, and environments that you know nothing about. So back to reality. Fulio's dead. And you got all these people, rest in peace, Fulio. And my brother and I, we were just like, just years back, I'm like, I'm surprised this dude is still alive. He's so disrespectful, and violent. And, the spirit within that young man was so, it was just, it just seemed to, when people say they're on demon time, it's really, the demonic spirit that is encompassing these people to say and do things that are so unholy and disgraceful, right? But yet for them, they'll create a grace to it. So Fulio came out with that one song. He sampled Fantasia's, I'm sorry, not Fantasia. I think he sampled her too, When I See You. He sampled Fantasia's When I See You. And basically, he was talking about when he sees somebody, allegedly he was going to kill them. So now here he is dead, right? And people are talking about rest in peace, Fulio. And I'm more like sad life, no positive guidance, right? Because if anybody around this guy was really guiding him, and he probably did have some influences around him saying, hey, man, just focus on your music, try to kill that gang life. And maybe he was really trying to do that. But a lot of times when you get caught up in some of these life of beef and stuff, your past will follow you in a way, especially when you're talking about murdering and taking other people's family members away from them, right? That is a past that can actually follow you if there is no justice and people know that it was you that did it, right? And you still walking around being able to do whatever you want to do. So I say this to say that I feel like, it's unfortunate when anybody loses a loved one. It's unfortunate, when anybody loses anybody, But, I have sympathy to those who are family members of Fulio, who are friends of Fulio, gang affiliates of Fulio's, right? But they're dealing with this death because they were likely enabling or not really pushing him to go higher. And I don't know what higher would mean for some of these brothers, like I said, because again, when you look at the world, when you look at the US economy, a lot of people are stagnant. They really don't know what to do because there's just a lot of low production. And even though they want to fluff the job numbers, it is what it is. Like, this economy, this country is not doing well. But this is just the level of disgrace that does exist in the Black community, unfortunately, but it doesn't encompass all of Black culture. And so I don't want people to conflate ideas and ignorance with reality. Like I said, when you're talking about the Black community, which segment are you talking about? Because a lot of these Sexy Red and all these projections that you guys see, that is a projection of the mindsets and the behaviors of the poverty line, right? But there's a whole fading middle class Blacks in the equation, and there's also your higher net worth Blacks, right? And the behaviors and mindsets of those Blacks are going to be different. I'm glad that Tariq Nasheed validated that point, or at least co-signed that point, because I've been saying it forever when he debated Myron and those beta men in the red pill space, and he ethered them because there's just, people be in their echo chambers and they're repeating this, that, or the other. But then there is reality, right? There's just how people function and think in reality. And in my position, I do believe that majority of Americans, no matter what side of the aisle that you're on, no matter what race you are on, are racist, because that is the conditioning of the propaganda and just society over the time, by skewing history, demonizing history out of context, and keeping people fueled into this person is your oppressor. When really, now when I go into some of these spaces, I'm like, at least people are breaking things down. Like, white people, they're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, we're tired of this being a universal argument against us. There is a whole segment of white-looking people who disguise themselves as white, but they're really not white, that you guys aren't looking at. And when you look at it, we're not the ones who are faces in almost everything in a dominant way. And so it's interesting, some of these conversations that people have. But, again, I think understanding social psychology, understanding the dynamics of groups, the ideologies, the subgroups of groups, is going to go a long way in understanding people and the people that you're dealing with, because a lot of times, people will conflate a broad stroke. Like, you'll take a conservative person like Brandon Tatum, right? And he'll take this thing like Fulio, what's going on with Fulio, like, black people this, universally. It's like, no, these are poverty line Blacks, right? These are the behaviors that are being promoted by the non-Black dominant music industry, right? So that they can promote a message to young Black men in a negative way. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful beginning of your week. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, and Angie C313, I am just going to keep pushing out enlightening content, and whoever needs a middle of the road perspective, you are welcome to chime in. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because I am one of those content creators that I am being suppressed, because again, they want these echo chambers to be dominant. They want people on the bandwagon of ignorance. And a lot of times, people like me who facilitate conversations, they don't want you to hear or see me, because they're like, oh God, that's too reasonable. And we need people inflamed, and I'm not here to do that. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Reach out if you want to collaborate or have an introductory call, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.